Imagine, if you will, the year 1859. Oregon has just become the 33rd state in the Union. It was a time of hope and promise, but also uncertainty and tension. The issue of slavery had the North and the South locked in a bitter ideological struggle. And even though Oregon was thousands of miles away from the epicenter of this conflict, it was not untouched by the storm brewing on the horizon. The state's early history was marked by the same debates that were causing rifts nationwide. Oregon was admitted into the Union as a free state, a decision that was not without controversy. The politics of the time were fraught, the social climate tense. The question of slavery was a hotbed of contention, and the differing views were pulling the nation apart at the seams. As the clouds of war gathered over the nation, Oregon, this new state on the western frontier, found itself embroiled in the same heated debates that were tearing the country apart. The drums of war echoed across the nation, reaching even the far-off shores of Oregon. Despite its location, tucked away in the far west, Oregon was not insulated from the turmoil of the Civil War. Interestingly, no battles were fought on its soil due to its remote location. Yet, Oregon was far from a passive observer. The state's contribution to the war effort was significant. Hundreds of brave Oregonians enlisted in the Union Army, ready to fight for the cause they believed in. Back home, the state was a hotbed of political debates. The question of slavery deeply divided its citizens, with a strong anti-slavery sentiment prevailing among the majority. Oregon's support for the Union remained steadfast throughout the war. Its citizens, though physically distant from the battlefields, felt the war's impact deeply. Despite its distance from the battlefields, Oregon was deeply affected by the Civil War, its people and its politics forever marked by this turbulent period in history. When the smoke cleared and the war ended, the nation, including Oregon, was left to pick up the pieces. In the aftermath of the Civil War, Oregon, like the rest of the country, was faced with the daunting task of rebuilding. The war's impact had reverberated across the vast expanse of the state, leaving deep imprints on its society and politics. Oregon, though physically distant from the main theaters of war, was not immune to the changes that swept the nation. The economy of Oregon, once dependent on southern markets, had to adapt to a new reality. The state harnessed its abundant natural resources, focusing on timber and mining. This shift in economic structure led to a boom in population as people flocked to Oregon, seeking opportunities in these burgeoning industries. Towns sprang up overnight, and the state's landscape gradually transformed with the influx of new settlers. But it wasn't just the economy that was undergoing a transformation. The Civil War had sparked passionate debates about race and equality that continued long after the last shot was fired. The question of rights for the newly freed African Americans was a contentious issue. Oregon, despite being a free state, grappled with its own prejudices and the legacy of its exclusionary laws. The war also had a profound impact on the state's politics. The Republican Party, which had been an insignificant player before the war, emerged as a dominant force, championing the rights of the former slaves and pushing for progressive reforms. The scars of the Civil War ran deep in Oregon, shaping its history and its future in ways that can still be seen today. The echoes of the debates that raged during this period can still be heard in the state's political discourse. The economic shifts that occurred set Oregon on a path to becoming the diverse and vibrant state it is today. Curious about what happened in your state during the Civil War? Click on the playlist that's now on your screen to find out more. Thank you for watching.